Yep. Good morning, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. We're going to let Coach open up with a few thoughts and then use the raise hand function, please, and we'll call on you. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, marketing update of the week. Saturday, the annual Throwback game in Gregory Gym. Thought it was one of the best things we did last year as we established the program year one. We're excited to do it every year. We're going to try to alternate years from time to time, letting the Longhorn Nation come. Last year was a student-only game. This year, because of the Thanksgiving break, we were able to sell, I think, around 3,500 tickets. It's my understanding the game is sold out, but we're holding the corral section for the students to come as well. So appreciate you guys in your own ways helping get the word out. 3 o'clock tip in the Gregory Throwback game. The doors will open 90 minutes before 1:30 for the students. And then 1 hour before that, basically 12:30 to about 1:20, we're going to feed the students that are in line waiting to get into the corral for the Throwback game. Obviously, next game on the schedule, so it's a big step for us. Always thought teams can improve over these breaks, or they can stay the same, which is, to me, not improving. So it's 40 minutes of basketball for us here right after Thanksgiving. Then certainly the next home game against Creighton kind of speaks for itself. Equally important to us as the game this weekend at Gregory is also the fact that this is the Coach Black Classic. I know you guys realize that Coach is one of the greatest men, coaches, players here at Texas basketball history. Won a championship as a player, won championships as an assistant coach, and then was a championship head coach as well. Gregory Gym was his venue in all three roles: player, assistant coach, and head coach. So to have Coach Black's family back this weekend is going to be awesome. His wife, his son, other family members. One of the marks of a coach, I think, is how the former players feel about you. And in my short time back in Austin, not only having some time to spend with Coach Black before his passing, but also meeting so many of his players. And as you know, things that Coach Black did were far more important than just basketball. He recruited the first 7 Black players in program history. He's just an icon. I know Shaka, my friend, told me a few times about his relationship with Coach Black when he was coaching here, and I'm very aware of Coach Barnes and Coach Pinder's relationships with him as well. So we're honored to honor Coach Black in this classic. Any questions?
Roz, go ahead, please.
Let me unmute. Yeah, Chris, what are your impressions of how well Hunter and Carr have been working together despite not having played a lot together?
Yeah, I think really well. It's a work in progress. It's just 4 games into the season, as you guys know. So we got a long ways to go. But I think it starts with those two guys wanting to play with each other. I've said before that one of the biggest lead recruiters in Tyrese coming here was Marcus. And then I know Tyrese, I don't want to speak for him, but he wanted to go somewhere where he felt the roster was built to have success, not only during the season, but in the postseason. So those guys have a great relationship. They feed off each other. I think that's the way basketball is at all levels now. The NBA, college, international basketball, the Olympics, you got to have multiple playmakers on the floor. Marcus and Tyrese are both scorers. They can shoot. They can score at all 3 levels, but they're also point guards in terms of the ability to play, make, and set people up. So it was by design. And those aren't the only 2 playmakers we have on the team. We have other guys that play make from their respective positions. So, but I think Tyrese and Marcus are off to a great start playing together.
Thank you.
Bob Ballou, go ahead, please.
Coach, 2 questions. First, speaking of guys making plays, Timmy Allen isn't scoring a lot, but he's doing literally everything else. How much do you think he's rubbing off on Dylan and Arterio, and then even Tyrese and Serge-Ibaka as they see kind of what the role that he plays and how much he does for your program?
Yeah, I think Timmy's off to a good start. Timmy Allen is a basketball player, is well documented. He's secure in who he is. He's not out here chasing stats. He's score more points and grab more rebounds, got assists and steals, and really any player in college basketball history in his respective category. So he's well documented on what he can do as an individual. I don't want to speak for Timmy, but the things that he said to me when he decided to come back and play this last year was he wanted to win. And that's what he's doing right now. He's averaging right under 8 rebounds a game, 7, 8 rebounds a game. and he's not getting his normal minutes in some of these games because, they're out of hand early. So I think he's on pace to have his best rebounding year. He's obviously a guy that we have a lot of confidence with on both sides of the floor, offense and defense. But I think it's too early in the year to talk about individual stats. Is Timmy scoring? Is he not? We got a lot of basketball to go. Was it game 5 right around the corner?
And then you mentioned the Creighton game next week. I'm curious, did you watch how good that Creighton Arkansas game was last night? Did you watch Courtney Ramey had a huge night for Arizona? How much college basketball do you actually get to watch this time of year as you're as we kind of move forward?
Yeah, obviously with us, we're pretty locked into our team and our next game, but I probably watch more college basketball than anybody in my spot just because I love it so much. It's what I do. I take a break from UT Rio Grande Valley tape, and then I step away and I watch, maybe one of our future opponents or maybe one of our past coaches. I watch a lot of Georgia Southern basketball because of Brian Berg, and I try to watch some Texas Tech because of Coach Adams and things like that. But yeah, absolutely, I've laid eyes on that. Creighton's really good. I knew that before the season. They got one of those teams where everybody's back, and they added great players in recruiting. So, and Coach McDermott's one of the best that's ever done this. So that's a great opportunity game for us. The exciting thing is we have a lot of those games on the schedule this year. In terms of Courtney Ramey, I talked to him briefly before the season started and wished him the best. I'm well on the docket. I'm documented on how I feel about those guys. We're proud of Ramey. He's a Texas graduate. This will always be his school, his alma mater. We just wish for him the best this year and this last year of college basketball as this transitions him into pro basketball. But I enjoy coaching Courtney. Always pull for him. I know he played great last night. It was exciting to see. Congratulations to him.
Jeff Jones, go ahead, please.
Coach, I also have 2 for you. First up, I'd love to hear what has impressed you most about Dylan's journey from recruiting him to Texas, to the injury, to becoming a starter on this team. What's impressed you most about him?
Yeah, I think with Dylan DeSue, I thinking he's starting to get into a real world of consistency. And when a player as talented as him starts getting into that every day, that's where greatness can happen. So no one's ever denied his talent or his ability to play the game in high levels, basically just be the best player on the floor in spurts. But the next step for Dylan to become a pro, and ultimately that's what we need here at Texas, is we need him to max out his potential as a college basketball player. So it all goes hand in hand. It's just to find that level of consistency where he can dominate possessions back and forth on both ends. So I've been really impressed with his consistency as of late. It really started this summer. It kind of bled into the fall. But you can tell the confidence he's playing with right now. And he deserves all the credit. He's the one putting in the time, no doubt about it.
And secondly, with the holiday tomorrow, I saw the fireside chat last night. You told us you like cranberry sauce. Can you give me a breakdown of your perfect Thanksgiving plate? What are you loading up on? What are you going light on? Is there anything you're staying away from completely? Perfect Thanksgiving plate.
Yeah, no question. So, being in basketball, my Thanksgivings always involve 30, 40, 50 people because our team eats together. This year will be no different. I think we eat around 130. So the first thing I'm looking for is efficiency. I don't like the Thanksgiving where we all have to wait in one line. We let players go first. Women go first. I'm always the back of the line. So I like the double line. I like the fact that we can go down both sides. And then really I like the four-way line, where we got the same thing going down one side and the other thing going back. That's efficiency to me. I love the cranberry. It's a 1-to-1 ratio to me. Every bite of turkey has 1 bite of cranberry on it. I was never a stuffing guy until recently because I don't like chives, peppers, or onions. But a couple of years ago, we had a stuffing that didn't have onions in it. So now I'm kind of a stuffing guy. I think the hidden gem, too, of Thanksgiving is the deviled egg. Nobody really thinks about the deviled egg. We all had it, after church at the casserole dinners. But let's bring back the deviled egg. I love the deviled egg. I think drinks, you of course, the iced tea and water, but it's basketball season, so I don't apologize for having a little caffeine from time to time. So I do like a soda with my Thanksgiving meal. I also like a guilt-free environment. I don't want to hear from Chris Ogden or Jabari Rice that I'm eating too much and what my physique looks like compared to theirs. This is Thanksgiving. We don't want any guilt in the environment. We all want to feel good about our decisions. So these are all the things that go into Thanksgiving. Also like a really good prayer, as we all do, but I like an efficient prayer. I mean, because again, we got 40 people waiting. The food is ready. We don't have time for the Catholic mass. We need more of a Methodist right to it quickly. And I love all religions. We have all types of faith on our team. So I really like this year. Our pastor, Randy, does a great job. And I think Randy always fills off the environment. There are some times where Randy's preaching at us or with us in the prayer. No problem. Love that. But on Thanksgiving, it's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for in and out quickly so we can get to the food.
Joe
Thanks,
Cook,
Coach.
good luck following up on that one.
It'll be tough, but I don't know if we've gotten a chance to talk to you since AJ signed. Just what does he mean to add to your program? And then I know he's got a pretty close relationship with, I think, Jalen Green. So what were your interactions with Jalen Green and seeing him come to the facility from Houston?
Yeah, so AJ and Jalen are basically brothers. They spend a lot of time together. They're in the same circle, same family. It's my understanding, maybe not biological brothers, but biological brothers. We all know that. We all have family in that way. I really like Jalen. I got a chance to spend a little bit of time with him in the recruiting process. He's obviously a dynamic kind of franchise player. But my experience with Jalen, there was a lot of humility too. Just a good guy. I was telling some of the coaches the other day, I mean, guy says thank you and appreciate it and open the door for a few people in his time in Austin. So I look at those things, and maybe not important to everybody, but it's kind of important to me. But he's a fantastic player, and my experience with him, I thought he was a really good person too. In terms of AJ, we're always excited to add talent to the program. Above all, it's a talent business. AJ has a lot of talent in basketball. He has the length and athleticism, the IQ, the skill to be one of those players that can play early in his career and be a guy that could play basketball for a long time. One of the kind of side stories for me with AJ is I really respect his journey. It hasn't been easy for him. He wasn't one of these guys that was ranked high as a 7th or 8th grader. He wasn't a 5-star guy before he got his driver's license. He was a guy that really worked and chipped away and really started getting a lot of credit in the recruiting world recently, really going into his senior year or during his junior year in the AAU season. So he's been coached at a high level, played at some different high schools, and every step along the way he's had great coaching. His summer team, unbelievable job. And then the way his mentor and family set up his individual player development, it's been really well run too. So AJ's a 5-star talent, but a guy that has a humility about him, and he's run his own race. And really he has a chip on his shoulder because all the success hasn't come easy for him. He's worked for it. So we look forward to having him at the 40 acres.
Mike Hards, go ahead, please.
Hey, Coach. First time getting a chance to talk to you. Big fan and been following you for a long time. You actually recruited my son at one point, and you played against him. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the 3 point guards that you have that have all played in the NCAA tournament, the experience that they bring. And we also got a chance to ask Coach Sark about Roshan Johnson and what he means to the program at the University of Texas. And I want to bring up Brock Cunningham's name to you in the same light. So if you can get a chance to give us some of that information as well.
Yeah, first of all, with our point guards, really all of our players, we have a team where everybody in our rotation has not only played in the NCAA tournament, but won in the NCAA tournament. Certainly that was the case with Jabari Rice at New Mexico State and Tyrese Hunter at Iowa State. So that's not by accident. One of the things that we look at in recruiting, obviously it starts with talent, but we get pretty quickly to winning DNA. Have they been coached? Do they impact winning? Do they know what winning feels like? Can they be a part of winning? So a lot of that is by design. Obviously, we've been fortunate to have some guys that experienced success, not only in the regular season, but in the NCAA tournament. But that is a part of our plan, a part of our design. It's easy to talk about, especially in November, but we'll see how it plays out later in the season. But we do feel like we've got some guys that understand what it takes to win in the NCAA tournament. I think with Brock Cunningham, everything that's written and said is just true. The first thing about Brock is he bleeds burnt orange. He loves the University of Texas. Austin's his hometown. And that's pretty special in coaching when you can coach a guy that it really is playing for what's on the front of the jersey and not the back. And Brock's one of those guys. I know we tried to recruit Brock at my last school, a little bit. It was well known that he was going to come to Texas. This is his school. And there's a few of these stories around the country, and when they happen, they're pretty special. Brock's a guy that really leads our team in a lot of ways. Sometimes he's the vocal leader. Always he's the by example leader. Pound for pound, inch for inch, he's the toughest guy on our team. He'll make those tough plays that a Christian Bishop and a Timmy Allen will make as well consistently. You always know where you stand with Brock Cunningham. He's going to approach practice just like he's going to approach a game. And so he's a special guy. He's a graduate of the University of Texas already. He's in the graduate school getting an advertising degree. To me, Brock's one of those guys that's great about college basketball. It's fun to coach him. I think he'll be in the Hall of Fame one day. I really do. At Texas, I just think he's got to be a part of some more winning teams. But I think if we do our job as a team these next 2 years, I believe Brock Cunningham will be in the Texas Hall of Fame because he impacts winning.
Have time for one last one. Roger Wallace, go ahead, please.
Coach, I got to get a follow-up. You kind of sprinted through the meal and didn't leave room for a dessert. Where are you on, kind of pacing yourself so you can have a little post-game? Then I do have a basketball question.
Yeah, never been a big pumpkin pie guy. I think sometimes they can kind of disguise it and put a bunch of whipped cream on it where you really can't tell it's pumpkin pie. It's kind of like here in Central Texas when you go hunting with guys. I'm not a big hunter, but you go hunting with guys and they take the piece of dove and they wrap it in 3 pieces of cheese and 3 jalapenos, and they say, man, doesn't that dove taste good? I mean, cardboard would taste good if you had that much cheese and jalapeno. Experience that in West Texas too. Same thing with hunters here in Central Texas. So must be a hunting thing. So back to pumpkin pie. I'm not a huge fan, but I guess if you're going to put a bunch of whipped cream on it, I can take a bite. What I really like is pecan pie. But I want the gooey stuff in there in the middle. I don't want the fresh pecan pie. And then I got to have ice cream on the pecan pie. And we're looking for the same ratio, 1-to-1. And I really don't want to hear what John Riley thinks about my decision. So this is Thanksgiving. Leave me alone. Let me eat what I want. That's kind of the philosophy behind our Thanksgivings.
And then quickly, just this is a time of year where a performance like Gonzaga, the nation can fall in love with teams if they get to see those kind of efforts. Is this team mature enough and old enough where you can dial it down when Texas becomes the flavor of the day in college hoops after a performance like that, and you got to keep grinding here?
Yeah, yet to be determined. I know I can personally. I know our coaching staff can. There's a couple players in that locker room that I believe can, but as a unit, I don't know. We talk a lot about handling adversity, and sometimes success is adversity because, success can get to you just like adversity can. So we talk a lot about rat poison in our program. And yes, we took that from Coach Saban. We borrowed it. And I know no other way to really describe it any better. A lot of times when people are talking about you, maybe not in the best way, it's, who cares? It's about our next game, next practice, next moment. And I think veteran teams, experienced teams understand that when maybe from time to time somebody's talking good about you, really doesn't matter much either. To me, it's all about validating. You got to validate the last possession with the next possession. You got to validate practices. And like today's a big day for our team, in my opinion. Yesterday we take off after a nice game in the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm always kind of curious on how a team's going to respond after a win, after an off day, after some success. And this week has a lot of distractions. Nobody at Texas is in class this week because of the Thanksgiving break. A lot of distractions going on with holidays. Distractions doesn't necessarily mean negative. It just means there's things going on where we have to kind of lock in. So can our team handle it? We're about to find out.
Thank you all. Appreciate your time. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.